Recorded Books and One Click Digital present The Angel of Forest Hill by Cindy Woodsmall. Narrated by Kate Forbes.
Chapter 1. Rose clutched the wooden handles of her embroidered traveling bag, tightening her grip to stop her fingers from trembling. Why had she agreed to do this? She glanced at the hired driver before returning her attention to the view through the car window. Since getting in this car almost 5 hours ago, she'd watched as the familiar rolling farmlands of Pennsylvania had given way to the mountains of West Virginia. The tree-covered mountainsides were majestic, with every shade of gold and red foliage, but as night overtook the golden wash of the fall day, the beauty was silhouetted by the darkness. The driver, a woman who looked to be the same age as Rose's mum, lowered the volume of the radio. "There's a restaurant ahead of us. We can stop if you need to." "I'm fine now, thank you." That wasn't true, but Rose would fight her nausea rather than give in to it again. Since leaving her house, they had already stopped at 3 places to give Rose a chance to get out, gulp in crisp air, and press a damp cloth to her lips. The driver nodded and turned the radio up, continuing to listen as men discussed how to fix the country. It seemed odd that there was no one around to criticize Rose for letting time melt away as she just sat here, thinking. She let her thoughts trail back to earlier in the day, when her life was a steady routine of hard work and familiar safety. She and her mum had been getting breakfast on the table, a vat of steamy brown sugar oatmeal and panfuls of oven-toasted bread, when Nat Ish knocked on the back door. Her dad welcomed him and invited him to join them at the table. Rose grabbed a mug and poured coffee for him, and then returned to ladling oatmeal into bowls for her 11 brothers. Her parents were dairy farmers, and she was the lone daughter of the 12 children. Work never stopped, not even when it was Christmas Day, or when she was recovering from the flu that had landed her mum in the hospital. The bishop studied her as he sipped his coffee. Finally, he cleared his throat. "Hard times come to all of us, and we must help carry one another's burdens. The Forest Hill community is a small Amish district, only 8 families, and they need our help." Had she ever heard of that community before? She tried to recall as she filled a bowl with oatmeal and held it out to her youngest brother. "Do you know where Forest Hill is, Rose?" Nat asked. The bishop's direct question to her caught her off guard, and she dropped the oatmeal. Her mom and brothers yelling at her unnerved her even more, and her face afire, she was unable to find her voice. Nat winced. "It's my fault, not hers." The complaining immediately ceased, and the bishop continued talking about the Forest Hill community and the needs of the strangers who live there. A young woman had given birth but wasn't doing well, and she had 2 other small children. Like many in rural Appalachia, the families in the district were facing hardships, and none of them could move in and help take care of 3 little ones. While Rose served her brother a fresh bowl of oatmeal and cleaned up the spill, Nat described the stranger's needs. But with her rattled nerves and her ongoing prayers, she barely heard him. "Dear God, if it's not a bother, show me what to do, and let your truth set me free." "So," the bishop stood, head angled, "would you be willing to do this?" She looked to her dad for some clue as to what the man wanted and what answer she should give. Her dad nodded. "She will." Nat's smile hinted at gratefulness, but he also seemed a bit reluctant. Had he hoped she would be allowed to make her own decision? "I'll have a driver pick you up as soon as possible." He placed his fingers on the table as if steadying himself. "When the call for help went out to all the districts, I immediately thought of you, Rose, knowing the family couldn't find anyone better suited."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?